Okay, take your seats, please, because we'll start in a few seconds. Okay, I admit that 5 years ago, when I heard about IoT, well, I heard a long time ago, but 5 years was, the discussion was starting about it. I admit that I said, okay, IoT, interesting, very interesting, but it's not here yet. Right now, we can say that Internet of Things is here and is huge. Well, from, I don't know, smartphones to refrigerators to TVs to whatever, everything is connected, everything is in this class, Internet of Things. Well, we have today with us a leading expert in IoT, SAVERIO Romeo. Please join me. Well, he's a lead analyst at IoT Analytics, and he'll provide us some insights in what IoT means right now.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do I have the... yeah. Okay. So, first of all, thank you for the organizer to invite me to Bucharest. It's my first time in Bucharest, not in Romania, but it's my first time. I will going to give an overview of what the IoT, the state of the IoT, what it is, where are we going, and then I'm going to highlight three main trends which we need to put attention to. I divide my life, that one is me some time ago, see, I have more white hair. I divide my life between IoT Analytics and the University of London. I'm here with the IoT Analytics hat. In University of London, I work in the School of Informatics and Management on AI, blockchain, and this sort of things. IoT Analytics is an analyst company, consultancy company, specialized in the Internet of Things and Industrial Internet. They do reports, they do consultancy projects. My role there is to look how emerging tech, the relevancy of emerging tech in the Internet of Things. So what I'm going to give you, an overview of the market, yeah? And then I'm going to talk about three trends. One which is extremely important now, the second one that is coming, the third one that we are trying to understand it. Yeah. Now, as the chairman said, IoT has been around for some time. I've been in the M2M IoT space, I guess, for 12 years now. The definition of it, you can find various types of definition of the IoT. I like to say that we are talking about interconnection of devices and servers and sensors who exchange data to create smart environments, but there are many different types of definitions. But it's real. It's not something conceptual. It's a roundhouse in many ways. Here I gave you some examples from Smart City. I heard today the CEO of Telecom Romania emphasizing a lot the smart city side of things, but a lot of activities in industrial internet, in smart logistics, and so on. Where are these projects? In IoT Analytics, we analyze 1,600 public known IoT projects in all over the world. You can see the portion of project in shares here, and you see the large one are in smart city and industrial internet. And now, the project in smart city needs to be divided somehow, in a sense that on one side you have the single smart city application as a project, so smart parking, smart lighting. They are more an M2M type of projects. Then you have the smart city projects which they look a bit more in an holistic way to the city. So an interaction among elements of the city. So for example, you have sensor on a light pole, but the sensor on the light pole is not just for the connected light, but could be used for environmental monitoring, could be used for security. Behind that, you have an IoT platform which I'll talk later, which manage the device and the data. You see other sectors there. Some of them have some complications that are not technological. So connected health, for example, the complication for major improvements in connected health is more about regulation, policy making, than technology itself. So we are there, but we are still at the beginning. I mean, the chairman said it's huge. I'm sorry, but I need to rephrase that adjective. We are at the beginning. We are at the beginning because there are a number of problems to solve. Some problems are technical, some others are not. And I listed here some of the key problems we have. There is a problem in interoperability among systems. We are solving that, but not yet there. Security is an important issue. I was discussing yesterday on the taxi with the presenter on the security stage on how was a startup who was doing a smart home devices came to me for a technical feasibility of the product, and I told them, you will pay me for do a security assessment through security experts. I went to a company who does hacking on connected devices to see how safe they are, and this smart home object was hackable in 15 seconds, simply because the password was actually into the code. There was no authentication. So the security issue becomes extremely relevant. In an IoT deployment, security by design is a must, is necessary. Then we have issue on privacy, slightly addressed by GDPR, but not that much. Data ownership, who the data belongs to. For example, it's quite an important case in smart agriculture, when a big agricultural company is involved in the story. And then there was also the CEO of Telecom Romania was discussing about the skills. We do not have, or in better words, the educational system is not really capable of offering the number of specialized skills the IoT needs. And you can go from data scientists to Raspberry Pi programmers and so on. And then the last one is to be able to demonstrate ROI out of IoT projects. It's happening in certain sectors, less clear in others. So this is a bit the projection of, in terms of revenues of the global IoT market. Here we include all the components of an IoT solutions. Like I would like to highlight that in the previous presentation, the IoT was presented as a technology. It's not a technology. The IoT is a composition of technologies. For doing an IoT solution, you need to have different type of technologies. You need to have the connectivity, you need to have the platform, you need to have the data analytics, you need to have the application development. So you need a number of components. And integration of these components is a problem sometimes because interoperability is a problem. So we have this sort of prediction. We have a problem there because some problems are not solved yet. Security, the ones I said before. There is a lot going on in IoT security, so we are quite confident. A number of working groups. If you have time, EU Cyber Security Working Group has a fantastic sessions and reports on IoT security. And this is what the famous, there are a lot of these numbers around billions and billions of devices. Whatever is the number, 7, 10, 12, 15, we will have a lot of devices. Some of them will be dumb devices, just sensors. Some other of them will be intelligent devices, so active, actuating devices. And here you see the type of connectivity technology that is used, which I will go back when I'll talk about the trend. Which are the trends today that are affecting this scenario? At the moment, in an IoT solutions, you deploy a number of devices or sensors in a space. you use a mix of connectivity. There is not one connectivity for an IoT solution, but a mix of connectivity. You probably gather some data, not always all the data, not always use this data properly. You develop some applications, but what else can be done and what else is happening? So the first thing is IoT platforms. And I will go into IoT platform in more details. If you have a deployment of 110,000, 1 million devices, you need to manage these devices. And managing means monitoring their life, their behavior, if they actuate, if they don't, extracting the data, analyzing the data. All these need software backend, which is called IoT platform. There are, in our research, 450 plus IoT platforms in the marketplace. The second one is connectivity. I said connectivity is a mix, and we have two forms of connectivity that are coming from the opposite angle of the data bandwidth. From low data application, you have LP1, and then you have 5G, which is much more than enhancing mobile broadband. Then you have the edge analytics. Why do we need to send all the data to the cloud? Can we make the device at the edge intelligent? Can they act on their own? Yes, no, depends on the context. Sometimes, yes. And there is a lot of activity into the edge computing side. Then the previous talk, artificial intelligence. Yeah, what artificial intelligence is, first of all, for an IoT. What I'm going to do with artificial intelligence, we don't know yet very, very clearly. And then blockchain, again. What is this blockchain? It's an hype. How can blockchain interact with an IoT solution? So I'm going to talk about these three trends. Software platform, IoT platform, which is today with you. You cannot do an IoT solution without them. The second one is coming. Actually, LP1 is with you already. 5G is coming. And then the third one is more, let's say, a desire. Yeah? Creating the trust in the network, decentralizing the trust, and decentralize the intelligence. And for doing that, there are a number of things to put together. Now, platform, this is a macro structure, architecturally speaking, of an IoT platform. You have, of an IoT solution, you have the hardware, you have the communication, then you have the IoT platform there, with the application and security across all the area. Now, what services provide an IoT platform? And the services provided on an IoT platform can go from managing the connectivity, the airtime, managing the switch between connectivity. As I said before, you have a mix of connectivity. You have the cellular with a mesh network. You need to manage that. You have the device management. You need to manage the life of these devices. Then you have the analytics side, you have the cloud side, and you have the application enablement. I said it before, there are 450 and plus platforms. Who are they? What do they offer? They offer, some of them, they specialize on one specific layer. Some other of them, they offer 1 or 2, 3 layers. Very rarely, there is a platform who really offer an end-to-end solutions. And if it does through an ecosystem of players. So it's basically an organization like AWS, who has a phenomenal platform without being against AWS, but is also supported by ecosystem players around to offer the variety of services that you need to offer if you want to offer IoT solutions in a variety of contexts. Yeah? Unfortunately, when you want to choose an IoT solution, the situation in front of you is messy. Is a number of platforms that they tell you they offer you a number of things. The problem is, and the question, how do I choose a platform for my requirements. And this is a work in itself. It requires a process, typically in an industrial internet approach. So in manufacturing, the companies we have seen, they do pre-selection process. This pre-selection is supported by companies like us or system integrators specialized in this sort of software. They identify 10 vendors, and then they go down through an hands-on evaluation of the platform. So the platform vendors provide you with an access to the platform, with maybe a scenario of deployment, and you, as a company, do the technical assessment. After the technical assessment, you do the business assessment, and one criteria in the business assessment is to see what the company offers you in terms of ecosystem of players to arrive at the end of a smart factory platform for you. It's not easy. Personally, I've been in some examples like that. It takes 6 months, 8 months to go from the idea to the end, to the final selection. Now, it is also to say that the idea of plug-and-play IoT, is not realistic in my opinion. It's a complex project, an IoT solution. What do we go? Or this IoT platform, what are they looking at? They are looking at in improving their analytics suite. They are looking into try to understand what AI blockchain means for them. We are all looking at China. Why? Because the type of R&D investment done in this area, Alibaba is impressive in terms of money invested in IoT platform research. And the other issue is the balance, cloud edge. What do I do? What do I offer? Do I go towards a fog approach or a misty approach? I will do things very reliable. I can try to automatize the choice between the cloud and the edge. Now, connectivity. This is LP1. So I'm sure the audience is aware of what LP1 is. LP1 stands for Low Power Wide Area Network. These are solutions basically thought with the idea of transmitting small amount of data in long range with devices that can stay into the field between 5 and 12 years. So one of the drivers for looking to this was, all right, 2G is too expensive, maybe 2G is not available in rural areas if I want to do smart agriculture applications. Therefore, I can beat 2G on a number of things. This was one of the, let's say, initiation. And this is the number of connections that we believe they will be done by LP1 or will be supported by LP1. LP1 is a bit complicated in terms of market landscape in itself. This is what the landscape looks like. You have the unlicensed spectrum providers. Those are organizations that started 3-4 years ago offering you LP1 solutions in spectrum for which you don't need to ask for the license to the national regulator. And I'm sure you know the name there. The most famous are Sigfox. LoRa is an alliance, is not a provider itself, and there are many others. Then you have the mobile network operators catching the attention. And this year there are many, let's say 2 of these 4, NB-IoT and LTM. These are 3GPP standardization. You need to be part of a spectrum, so you need to have the license for doing is licensed spectrum. And then you have all a number of solutions on this side, which are difficult to frame in terms because maybe the range is longer than the range offered by the LP1, or the range is shorter, but they aim to offer solutions at which you can use in IoT solutions. Who is winning, if it's that important? But anyway, at the moment, is definitely what everyone is expecting, a huge boost by the operators on NB-IoT. and in the long term, NB-IoT becoming predominant in relation to the other, to Sigfox and LoRa mainly. Why this is important? It's important because you can do with these application solutions at a low cost that you couldn't do before. You can save energy, you can have devices into the field for a long time, so there is all a set of applications which can be enabled by this sort of technology. 5G, we were relaxed by 5G because we were thinking that the 3GPP was ready by 2021, the standardization, but the Chinese government has pushed a lot for 5G to become real because sees 5G as a competitive asset in industrial policy with other countries. So today, I think Verizon, for example, in the US, has launched FWA 5G, Fixed Wireless Access 5G. It basically is the typical, one of the typical way of covering the last mile in telco. You have the fiber, then to go from the fiber to the crib to the home, you use FWA 5G. So the 5G is coming, and this is a picture come from ITU to describe how 5G is not just enhancing the broadband and the speed, but is actually looking at all the spectrum of applications in the IoT arena, also looking at the low power wide area with the massive machine type communications and the time critical communication on this angle. So all typical application the industry is talking about, driverless car, VR, AR, the use of AI at a certain level, application in smart city, and it's coming before we were expecting. The mobile network operators are really under pressure in developing 5G between 2019 and 2020. Then the standards need to be completed because there are a number of elements, but we started soon. And just quickly, an important part of 5G is network slicing. In brutal terms, you can slice the spectrum and allocate the spectrum for a specific application. If the regulator says that me, Saverio, I can have a network, and therefore I can have a slice of this spectrum, I can offer mobile 5G services. This means that the landscape of the offering of cellular services can change quite dramatically from what we have today. Now, last one. This is a desire. I personally like it. We are all talking about it, but don't think we are there yet at all. Now, we have moved from, this is from an old really book on blockchain 2016 or 15 is very nice. It's like that you can buy it and read it. It's a very useful introduction to the blockchain. The idea is that we move from a centralized world. We are moving with the IoT towards a decentralized world when we have nodes that are intelligent in the network, and they can operate on their own. They can organize maybe mesh networks on their own. And then we go to the distributed one, in which basically is a pure peer-to-peer network, as all of us, we learned a uni when we did telecommunication systems or telecommunication protocol. So we are moving towards that, and blockchain wants to take us there, to this type of scenario. The other thing is happening is that in order to take us there to a distributed, intelligent environment, we need to have intelligence into the nodes. And this is a bit the process we are trying to do, We are trying to have assisted intelligence and moving towards the autonomous intelligence. And this should be the role of the AI world. This should be their role. Now, what this means in the IoT? In the IoT means that blockchain has a meaning when I can create a network of devices that they can operate on their own, they can control the device peer through a blockchain network and AI associated to it. Therefore, I'm delegating the trust of the transaction to a device. So this is from a quote from WiseKey Carlos Moreira, is a Silicon Valley-based security company. I have found it the best way of describing what a blockchain can do in the IoT. But we are not there at all, yeah? We are not there. We are working on it. We are thinking about it. Where we are in the blockchain is still strongly, rightly so, probably, concentrated on insurance, banking, money, wallet applications. Yeah, this is work we are doing. We have collected all a number of proof of concept and projects in the blockchain environment, and this is the portion. The one that you can say are IoT related are the supply chain and logistics, some energy one, but something in automotive, some ideas in smart city, but the focus is there. The famous one, probably you have read about it, are import logistics, port like Rotterdam, Tallinn, Antwerp, Hamburg, all into the blockchain story for basically tracking the goods, eliminating paper, reducing efficiency, some activity in pharma traceability with MediLedger, the famous project between IBM and Walmart in tracking the provenance of the contents of a food from the production until the supermarket. But we are talking about proof of concept. It's very difficult to find results to an organization who tells you, okay, with using blockchain and supply chain, I've had 35% of reduction in this, and that. And this is what we want to do. We want to have that on the top. We want to basically have trust in digital transactions, but we have an enormous amount of problems. We have a lot of, starting from technological problems, the famous problem of scalability of blockchain, which is an IoT problem too. And this brings into all the discussion on layer 2 technology, the DAG, and so on. There are regulations. Do we need to regulate blockchain? I don't know, maybe not. There are legal aspects. We don't know. I do not have the answer, and we do not have the answer. There is a European Blockchain Observatory from the EU established in March, who is trying to understand what to do with blockchain in Europe, really, in regulation term, in technology policy term. So I really like blockchain. Don't tell me as a skeptical one, but I'm just being a bit more realistic in the sense that the objective, the desired objective are quite interesting. The challenges are quite strong to face too. And the idea is, in the future, when it's coming, the idea is that the things that we are talking about here are converging towards a structure, an architecture that you can imagine in this way. You have the Internet of Things has the set of technologies that help you to produce the data, to sense the space, to gather the data, to integrate the data. You take the blockchain or the DLT, all the alternatives we are talking about, to exchange in a trust way this data among nodes, and then you have the data consumption through AI and analytics. This is what many startups are trying to do. I'm involved with a Romanian startup, and this is what they are trying to do, but it's not an easy task. And I think I finish here. If you want, raise hands, give me questions. I'm here to be killed. Otherwise, I'm around for all questions you have, curiosities, criticism, particularly criticism, I like it. Otherwise, thank you so much for your attention, and have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Thank you. If there are questions, over here, okay.
So You were saying that IoT and blockchain and AI will eventually merge into one integrated technology.
Yeah.
When do you think that will happen?
But not in an integrated technology. I'm saying that we are going towards these three blocks coming together in a solution. How that will happen, I think we start to see how blockchain and IoT are going together in the supply chain. And in those projects, you start to see how the two things are slowly going together. The blockchain becomes, basically, gives the trust to the movement of the goods. The AI will enter into the story when the amount of data we gather, first of all, we are able to organize the data we are gathering. We are not having data losses, and we have an amount of data to use in order to use AI algorithms. And for what I saw, I'm not seeing those sort of applications so far. I mean, on a commercial way. Then on proof of concept, yeah, but on a commercial way, no. It's also a lot about a matter of investment, because these things are not that cheap. So we need to see also the power of investment. Who is going to drive this? Now, IBM, in their mind, they have this view, and IBM can drive that. They have some use cases in which they combine the Blue Mix with Watson, with the blockchain platform. But for me as a researcher, it's still difficult to understand because you don't have a great access, let's be honest, on what's going on there. I don't know if I answered your question, but
yes,
this is more a desire. Is my personal desire, as many other startups, but we are far away. I think we need work to do.
Okay, take advantage. We have him here. So if there are any more questions, do you want to ask something else? Or
no, I just want to say
Yeah.
thank you.